I think we're live here. So the feed just went blank, so I apologize for that. Welcome to AMX89, a real life story of change. And if you notice, I'm a little bit disheveled this morning, and I will explain to you why. So as you guys are starting to roll in, I'm going to share this on my profile page, my Facebook profile. Still at this point, I'm really making an effort to gain awareness of AM excellence. So I'm sharing it. Any shares, any tags of people who you think could use this valuable message, it's sincerely appreciated. I'm trying to start a revolution, so every single tag, share, piece of help you can give me is greatly appreciated. And before I get started here, I'm going to stay true to AM excellence, what exactly it is. But I also want to share with you a pretty awesome story, a real life story of change, a real life story of someone I've been working with who has significantly changed their life for the better in the last year. And I'll get to explaining why I'm a little bit disheveled. So I just posted a picture, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes ago. This morning it is, where are we at here? Wednesday the 16th. And I train a high school athlete here. His name's Jared. So I train a high school athlete. I've been training for about a year. And when he came to me last year, I've talked about him before. I posted pictures about him here and there. When he came to me last year, his mom works with my wife, and she said, hey, would your husband train my son, etc. Didn't know much about him. He's a basketball player. Another odd thing is I've grown an affinity for training basketball players, which I never thought would happen in my life. I'm a wrestler and a fighter, and I never thought that would ever happen. But anyhow, so he came to me, and when he came to me, he was a standard, not very self-confident, not very physically developed 10th grader. In the past year, the change that this kid has made is absolutely unbelievable. And the reason that I'm sharing this story with you now is for two things. One, the only time we could get our second session training in this week, we trained twice a week religiously for the last year. The only time we could get our second session in was at 5:15 in the morning. Now, I get up at 4:25, 4:30, so for me it was like, oh, that's no problem. I'll read, have coffee, and then go train. This is a high school kid who a year ago, never in a million years, would have gotten up at 5. He probably got up at 4:55 in the morning to come train at 5:15. Now he's going back to school. The reason I'm sharing this with you is for a couple reasons. In the Facebook post I posted, one, the amount of development that he has experienced. And I don't want to say I don't care about the sports side of it, but really and truly, basketball, wrestling, football, baseball, whatever, it's going to be over. The value in what I'm sharing with him is what he's going to encounter later on in life, in his professional life, in his personal life, with his family, the family that he'll have, the family that he does have now. Those are the things, that's the mindset, that's the mental toughness that I'm developing in him in the gym. But I'm sharing nuggets that I share with you on a daily basis. It's just there, we're training, here we're sitting watching a video screen. So one, the power of that, the fact, his transformation. So if he can do it, you can do it, period. And then second, and this is why I'm bringing it into today's content, because we're reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill was giving us all these steps of this self-belief, of this auto-suggestion, of how you have to have a burning desire backed by faith, almost that you have to visualize what you want, where you want to be. So this is in essence, this is that in its reality. Jared doesn't know that he's practicing some of the principles from Think and Grow Rich. I wasn't aware of it before I started rereading this book and training him and thinking, holy cow, we're kind of doing this stuff that's in this book. So one, you've got to have a desire backed by faith. You've got to have a belief that you can do it. And two, the equally important part of that, I would say the second most important part of that, is surrounding yourself with the people and with the resources to get you there. Surround yourself with the best is my fifth element of excellence. Jared has surrounded himself with me. I'm not calling myself the best. I'm just saying I'm at a level that he wants to be at. So he surrounded himself with me religiously. He has absorbed me. He has absorbed me for the last 365 days, where I am now an extension of him. I am now part of his life. That's what you have to do. That's what I do on a daily basis. That's why I read. That's why I call famous speakers to say, hey, I'm Charlie. Can I talk to you? That's the mentality. That's the mindset that you need to have. So I want to share that with you for a variety of reasons. One, because I'm super proud of him, but to also share with you that he did it. He just did it. He had a desire backed by faith, and he did it. I hope he succeeds on the basketball court this year. He'll certainly do better than he did last year, but in my heart of hearts, it's far beyond that. So take that little lesson with you. One, you can do it. Two, you got to put yourself around the right people and things to make it happen. Now, today we talk about knowledge. And as a former teacher, it's funny, I made a video yesterday, and I love making these videos, and I realized the farther away I get from being a Spanish teacher, so I started my career as a Spanish teacher. I subconsciously, unknowingly, am reverting back to this idea of teaching. I love learning, and then I love teaching. And that's what I used to do, except now I'm teaching from books I read, whereas before I was teaching from a Spanish textbook. So it's the same idea. And that kind of dawned on me. I said, hey, maybe I am a teacher. I would always tell the kids I'm a teacher of life with a specialty in Spanish. Maybe now I'm just teacher of life. I don't really know. But anyhow, let's get on to today. We're talking about knowledge and the difference between generalized knowledge and specialized knowledge. So all of us in our own pursuits, whatever our pursuits are, we need to have specialized knowledge. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a businessman, salesman, coach, no matter what, you need to have specialized knowledge. And they go on to differentiate. They said there are two kinds of knowledge. One is general, the other is specialized. General knowledge, no matter how great in quantity or variety it may be, is of but little use in the accumulation of money. Again, he's talking about money, but we're talking about in the accumulation of your goals, the realization of your goals. Think about that. Where do you lie on that spectrum? For me, I got straight A's in school. Straight A's in school, claim to fame is I never got a B in college. Was I usefully smart? Probably not, but I knew systematically. There's that word, systematically. I knew how to systematically get good grades. In retrospect, whatever. I learned how to be usefully intelligent, but ask yourself that question. Do I have a lot of general knowledge? History, states, capitals, etc., or am I able to apply that knowledge? And that's the specialized knowledge that Napoleon Hill and Thinking Grow Rich is talking about. The ability to apply that knowledge. Specialized knowledge. What special gift? If you're aspiring for something great, what special knowledge, what special gift do you possess? And that's not an easy question to answer. I in the last year and a half, have been figuring that out in the message that I deliver. So it's not something easy, but start by asking yourself, what do I possess? What makes me more valuable than my coworker? What makes me more effective at my job than the other guy? There's someone that you're in a race with a promotion, with someone else. What specialized knowledge do you possess? And if you don't possess it and you want it, how can you get there? What can you read? What can you listen to? With whom can you surround yourself with to get that specialized knowledge? And he goes on to say, knowledge will not attract money unless it's organized and intelligently directed through practical plans of action. Practical plans of action. I had a dream to be a UFC fighter. That was great. Probably a lot of people have dreams. You have to develop a plan. What steps are you taking today to make that dream come to fruition? For me, it was talk to my parents, talk to my administration, secure a graduate assistantship in Eastern Pennsylvania and or New Jersey. Move to Eastern Pennsylvania, get my master's degree. Once I finished my master's degree, move to New Jersey, dive headfirst into other UFC gyms. That was the plan. A dream without a plan is just a dream. Nothing's going to happen. You need to start with a plan of action. Knowledge is only potential power. It's only potential power. You need to put it into action. And you can say knowledge, you can say a desire. All of this stuff is nothing without action. Jared, the high school athlete I trained. I got to think of a better word. I hate saying client. Client is such a non-good word. If anyone has an example or an idea other than client, please tell me, because I have no idea. I hate saying client and I hate saying this kid I trained. So I need something better. If you can help me, please do. Now, it brings back the example of Henry Ford. And at the time when he had this idea for a car, an automobile versus a horse and buggy, he was ridiculed. And it talks here about this. When you have a new idea or a big idea or a grand plan, there's skepticism. People are uncomfortable. People don't like to see, the majority of people, and if you're watching this video, you're probably not one of them. The majority of people feel very uncomfortable with change, very uncomfortable with things that aren't status quo. I'm not one of those people. I am the opposite of those people. I love not status quo. I love experiencing, exploring, seeing out if there's a better way, like whether you're Urban Meyer talking about living above the line, or whether you're all of these other examples of pushing limits, Joe DeSena of Spartan Race, pushing yourself, pushing the limits. I'm the opposite. I'm attracted to that. People aren't, generally. There's skepticism. Well, this is not going to work. And it was talking about Henry Ford with, developing an automobile, and he was actually brought to trial because the people around him, they were someone wrote in a newspaper article, I said a Chicago newspaper article, they wrote about him negatively, and he sued them for, that's libel, yes, libel, slander is the spoken, he brought them to trial for libel, and they put him on the stand, and he said, look, and in questioning, the prosecutor was, or the attorney, whichever it was questioning him. One of the examples was how many people were in this war, how many soldiers were in that war. And he said, look, all that is great, but in what I do, I have the ability, and this is so important, and I'm learning this, and I've started learning this in the last year or so. He said, I don't know the answer to those questions, but what I do have, and he said, I have a bunch of buttons on my desk that I can push to find out the answer to any of the questions that apply to what I'm doing. So the moral of that is this: you don't need to know everything. In whatever pursuit you're involved in, whatever you're pursuing, you don't have to know everything. I don't have to know how to code. I don't have to know how to make nice graphics. I don't have to know this, that. What I need to know are people who do know those things and have the ability to bring them in to my world. And that's exactly what you need to do as well in whatever endeavor you're involved in. And I keep going back to the simplest, most basic form of taking care of your family. There are resources out there. The Good Dad Project, it's a podcast, it's a movement of being a better father. There are plenty of men shows like that. There are plenty of women shows. There are plenty of former athlete shows. There's all of these resources out there that you can acquire, either one, the information, or two, be opened up to the people who can provide you that information. I'm going to start to wrap up here. There were a lot of different points on education. The last thing I want to throw out to you, and is this term mastermind. So however many people are listening, if you've never left a comment, I would ask you to leave a comment now. How many of you, just give me a yes or no, how many of you know what a mastermind group is? A mastermind group. So for real, if you don't mind responding, please respond. A mastermind group, I'm going to tell you, is a group, and I learned of it in this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And in my world, a mastermind group is common knowledge. But I realized that it's not common knowledge. Thank you, Andrew, for that feedback. It's not common knowledge to the average person. A mastermind group, by definition, it's in this book, and I'll get to it eventually. But in my definition, is a mastermind group is a group of like-minded individuals brought together for the selfless purpose of improvement. For example, this could be a mastermind group. So everyone here is interested in becoming better, is interested in improving themselves. And you know what? I'm actually going to Google it so I can read you his definition. But a mastermind group is an example of this. You get four of your coworkers, four of your friends, four of us who are listening, and you say, hey, we all want to get better. We all have different gifts. We're all going to come together in unity, selflessly, and we're going to make ourselves better. Basically, we're going to put it all out on the table. We're going to tell things that we're having trouble with. We're going to offer our advice, offer our perspective, and we're going to come together in unity, selflessly, to improve this group. And it's similar to that idea. It's similar to that idea of the one horse can pull 2,000 pounds, but two horses can pull 10,000 pounds. Napoleon Hill says the same thing. He says when you have one person, you have the capability of one person. But when you have 5 people, you have the capability of 20 or 50 people. And a mastermind is that idea, is that when you come together, all for the purpose of self-improvement, that when you come together in small groups, the genetic potential is exponentially multiplied by coming together in unison for the purpose of getting better. The proper definition, a mastermind group, and apply this in your own life and find it, informally, formally, whatever it is. The coordination of knowledge and effort of 2 or more people who work toward a definite purpose in the spirit of harmony. A mastermind is the coordination of knowledge and effort of 2 or more people who work toward a definite purpose in the spirit of harmony. Meaning, you come together with a definite purpose. I want to work on this. You come together, definite purpose, and work in harmony, meaning there's no agendas, there's no egos. It's, hey, Andrew, hey, Sherry, hey, Jeff, why don't we all come together, form a mastermind, and let's identify exactly what we want to work towards and work towards it. So that's the idea of a mastermind. Open your mind up to it, explore it, and find one either formally or informally in your life. Now, that is it for AM Excellence 89 already. Reading Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I sincerely, greatly appreciate every listen, every share, every tag. And as I had said before, I'm gonna open up something up here in the near future that can help you, us. It's not a mastermind, but it's just an extension of AM Excellence, and I think you're all gonna really enjoy it. So keep an eye out for that. Carpe diem, fight well.